Tan hat or black hat today? I think I'm gonna go tan hat. Alright, I'm Justin Mott and welcome to my home here in Hanoi, Vietnam. And if you're new here, my channel is dedicated to all things photography from the perspective of a full-time working professional photographer. And through the course of my 20-ish years out in this region, out in Southeast Asia, I've shot over 100 assignments for the New York Times. I've shot over 50 hotel shoots, that's commercial, photography, video production for IHG. If you're not familiar who IHG is, they own InterContinental hotels. They're one of the biggest hotel brands in the entire world. I've shot for them all over the world. And I also have another client that I'd love to talk about, but I can't because I've signed an NDA. So anyway, I'll talk about those two mega clients, how I landed those clients, and more importantly and more difficult, how I've kept those clients throughout my entire career. So let's get into it and let's talk photography. Alright guys, as always, don't forget to check out my online store at justinmott.com, where I've got online classes. I've got presets that will not make you a better photographer, but they will add some popular images. I've got prints with free shipping for the US and Canada. And right now on my online class, I have my mega package, my monthly mentorship program, on a mega sale for $500 off. Right now, it's on sale for $999, and you can do that as a 1 month off thing, or you can go month to month. This is open to all genres, all levels, anyone that really just wants to dive in and get better. So sure, I have other clients that I love, other clients that are big names as well, but these two clients have been consistently with me throughout my entire career for my commercial work and my editorial work. So I decided to focus on them. They've also been two of my highest volume clients. Consistency and volume. That's what I'm after. I want clients that recognize my name, that appreciate what I deliver to them on every single shoot. I want clients that when that editor leaves or that marketing person leaves, they still know my name. That's important to me because editors and marketing people leave all the time. I want the brand to know me. So when I see an opportunity for the brand to know me, I focus on that. I work on that. I value that. And that's what I'm going to talk about. So we'll start with the New York Times and how I landed them as a client. Did I just stand outside their building? Did I just email the editor one day and say, hey, here I am, I'm in Southeast Asia, hire me, I'm ready to go? No, didn't work that way. What I did was I put the time in. I went out and shot the work that I wanted to get hired to shoot for them, if that makes sense. So I moved to Southeast Asia. I worked in Cambodia on projects. I worked in Vietnam on my own personal projects. I worked on my craft as a photographer. I started to fill in the gaps in my portfolio. I started to figure out who I was as a photographer. I'd give myself little mini assignments so that when real assignments came up, I'd be ready to deliver, ready to shoot. I just spent time in my craft. I didn't have any money. I was in debt. I didn't finish school yet. I just knew I was gonna make this work. I didn't know I'd get in with the New York Times, but I just knew I needed to build a foundation. So I went to school for 3 years. I moved out here with about a year left to school, and I worked on my craft. I worked on those stories, and then I took those stories and I entered those into different competitions. I mean, I'm talking endless hours entering them into collegiate competitions in the US, internationally, then entering for workshops. I mean, this is a lot of time filling out paperwork, all those forms, going through the images, sorting the images, capturing the images. But once I had like a couple stories that I was really proud of, I started entering into those things, and I got in. I didn't even get in the first time. I got into Eddie Adams the second time I applied. The Eddie Adams workshop is a big photography workshop in upstate New York, and I got into that workshop, and I met a lot of editors, and I spent time and my own money. I was living here in Vietnam still, so I spent my own money, my own time, going back to New York and extending my trip after the Eddie Adams workshop to meet with different editors, passed around to different editors. And I was showing that work, again, that I had put that time in. So I had the work from Vietnam, and I was moving back to Vietnam. So like I had also a plan on how to market myself. Like, here's work from Vietnam, and also this is where I'm going to live. Or actually, I was saying this is where I live right now because I was kind of living there. So I came back to Vietnam. It took a couple months. I finally got a call from one of the editors for an assignment in Malaysia. I shot that assignment, and I crushed it. And it wasn't like the most difficult assignment or dangerous assignment, but it was hard to get access to, and I crushed that assignment. Actually, right there, I keep that picture right there. That is my first assignment ever for the New York Times, and I got the front page, and I keep it framed above my desk as a reminder to hustle, because all that went into that. All that hard work was years. And that's not the path for everyone, man. It's not. Like sometimes I've gotten friends in the New York Times just because I said, hey, this person's a great photographer and they're available and I'm not, so I give them the work. But my path was different. My path was this, and that is a reminder, because that right there, all the work in my playbook that went into that has led to success in other parts of my photography career as well. And that just snowballed into a ton of work. And remember, I had 1 year of school left. At school, they told me, no, you have to work an intern at this small paper and then go to this mid-sized paper and then maybe you'll get lucky. I didn't follow that playbook. I wrote my own playbook. I knew how important that opportunity was, so I didn't finish school. I just decided, like, I'm gonna set up shop here in Hanoi, have a go at it. And they sent me all over the place and I started getting a ton of work, and that's how I got in with them. All right, now IHG, now InterContinental Hotels. I mean, I do a lot of work for IHG, but InterContinental Hotels is probably what I'm most known for within their brand and what I've shot them most for as well. So InterContinental Hotels, how did I get in with them? Did I just call a marketing person? Did I just add someone on LinkedIn and say, hey, I'm ready to shoot? No, I didn't even know this kind of work really existed. I was doing a lot of New York Times feature stories, news stories, and then I started doing more travel stories. And my work for the New York Times started getting my name fresh with agencies and with editors in New York City because it's the New York Times, people read it. So I started to get work for Condé Nast Traveler, which is a luxury travel magazine. And they started sending me all around Southeast Asia. Now, they didn't pay well, but it was pretty cool assignments. I was photographing different cities, different luxurious hotels, a lot of hotels. And then that made me start to look into like the hotel world a little bit, because one of the marketing salespeople asked me after the shoot, like, hey, can I buy those images from you? And I was like, yeah, you can buy them. And it was a lot more than I made in the assignment. And I said, like, hey, you could actually hire me to come back and do a full shoot for you and we could get it exactly right. So when I'm doing an editorial shoot, I've got a long list, I can't set stuff up. And they hired me to do a shoot. And then after that, I did another shoot for Condé Nast Traveler at InterContinental Da Nang. And that image that I took for them landed on the cover of Condé Nast. And that caught the attention of one of the regional marketing people in Bangkok. And that person called me up and was like, hey, we'd love for you to do a shoot. And that, again, didn't just happen like just because I did well on that shoot. I also got to know the marketing person at InterContinental Da Nang. I followed up with her. I stayed in contact with her. I shared with her other images that I took. You know, I was trying to sell myself. I was hustling. And anyway, the person in Bangkok was like, hey, listen, I want to hire you for a shoot. And then that person asked me to do a shoot with an ad firm at back at that same property. And like, I wasn't really ready to do that kind of work, but I figured I could be ready and I took a chance. I started to look at the work and I started to see an opening to say like, okay, technically they're room shots. That's going to be hard for me to do, but I can learn the technical aspect. However, I did notice that their lifestyle shots, their shots with models were quite lifeless. And I thought like, okay, with my energy, with my experience of doing editorial style work and travel work in a very natural way, I can achieve something completely different. And I believed that. And then when I believed it, they believed it and they liked it. And when we went on the shoot, I applied that. I shot in a totally different way, using natural light, setting people up in natural situations like, hey guys, it's family of four, like here's the chair, here's the view, here's the pool, play, like run around, have the kids. And I just shot it like I would an editorial assignment when something happens. And I got great pictures and they liked the way I work and they liked my attitude, and it was a successful shoot. And that really caught the eye of the marketing person there. And then a few months later, she's like, hey, could you do a video shoot for us as well? And that was a successful shoot, and they really loved me on that shoot. They loved my attitude. They loved the work that I produced. And that led to over 50 shoots and me building a whole business based around that. Of course, we do other hotels and resorts as well, but it all started with them. So that's the backstory on how I landed these clients. Then the hard part comes. How do I keep these clients? Because marketing people change, budgets change, editors change, new people come in. They have preferred people they like to work with. It's hard. The hard part is keeping the clients. How I kept these clients was not ever being complacent, hustling, all these things I talked about before, and how I got the clients. Same thing applies to how I kept the clients. Staying versatile, having a good attitude, keeping my name fresh, hustling, and betting on myself. And so with the New York Times, I started to see, all right, budgets are shrinking. They're less likely to send someone around. I didn't want to just be like the Hanoi guy. I didn't even want to be just the Vietnam guy. I wanted to travel all over. So I learned how to shoot video. At that time, multimedia, collecting audio, shooting video, not a lot of photographers were doing that. And so I invested in some gear. I invested my time into learning. And they started sending me around because, hey, this guy can shoot 2 days, but he can come back with video, and he can come back with photos, and he can come back with audio. Same thing went for IHG. I saw an opportunity. I was thinking, like, who does their video shoots? And I started thinking, like, I could do that. I could make a business doing that because they're hiring me for photography. Doesn't it make sense to have a similar style with the video work? And so I learned as much as I could about video, and the parts that I wasn't good at and the parts I needed to learn, I hired people that I trust. I found people and I hired people that I trust to work with me. Just like I did with the New York Times stuff. Like I shot on spec, right? Like I shot my own personal projects on spec. Again, I went and shot the work on my own time, my own money that I wanted to get hired to shoot. Did the same thing for video as well. So shot at this private island resort, talked them into letting me shoot the resort for just expenses. And they paid me for the photo part, but video part, we did it for just expenses. But I said, hey, I'm gonna do it my way, and crafted it the way I wanted to and built a portfolio off of that one video. Took that video, I went back to that person at IHG, back to that marketing person. I said, hey, here's some video work we did. I'd love the opportunity to do this for you for some of your hotels as well. She loved it, gave me another opportunity. And then on that shoot, I was like, oh, well, they handled the models. We could do all that. We could be their one-stop shop for everything. So I could do video, I could do commercial photography. So my wife joined the team and we just became a production company. We could do everything for them, one-stop shop. And I felt, and I still feel this way, we could do it better than most ad firms. And we have done it better than most ad firms. And we've done it a lot cheaper than a lot of these ad firms as well. But that was like not the way the market worked. Everyone's like, well, you had to go through an ad firm. The same thing, same thought process with the editorial work. Well, we've got to work for this paper, and do it this way. I kind of just said, screw it with all that stuff. I said, why follow these models? Why adhere to these rules? Why not just be practical and be smart? And that's what I did. I mean, I'm not like super smart. I was just like, why not? We can do it, so why not? Why don't we do it? And once you've done it and done it successfully, you get that confidence to keep going with it. And you see, it's like, oh, you see people talk about this all the time. It's like, oh, yeah, it wasn't that hard. These people doing this stuff aren't better than me. You can do it too. That's the message I want to part with, that you can do it too. And it's not just one of these things I've talked about today. It's not just recognizing opportunity. It's not just putting the work in, putting the time in and creating these opportunities. It's not the hustle. It's not the growing. It's not staying versatile. It's not being consistent. It's all of them. All of these things need to come together. Keep doing them throughout your entire career. Same thing going on right now with my YouTube channel. This is a side thing for me, but this might be the future for me. I don't know what's going to happen within these industries in photography. I don't know if AI is going to change these things or ruin these things. So I'm staying fresh. I'm trying other things. That's what this is. I still have the other stuff, still love the other stuff, but this is exactly what I've done along the way. Try to stay one step ahead, try to stay versatile. And again, all those things I mentioned today, have all those things working all at once. Not one or two of those things, all those things, and consistently. That's all for today, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Again, don't forget to check out my online store at justinmott.com. Let me know who your wish list mega client is. I'd love to hear that. Or let me know what your mega client is already. Let me know if you have any advice. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm quite active in the comment section. That's what this channel is about, having a dialogue about photography, not just for pros, for amateurs as well, and all genres of photography. Ask away in the comment section. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to have a wonderful day.